Kurt Rich here, and thank you for joining me tonight on the One Shepherd's YouTube channel, where we are working to help seekers and believers. So, sorry I didn't get on yesterday. I had a little bit of issue with working out my schedule, but we're going to get back on track tonight. And starting tomorrow, I'm going to be trying to do two readings a day. In the morning, we'll be reading the Old Testament, so we'll be reading from Genesis right now. And in the evenings, we'll continue where we left off tonight, which will be Matthew 3. So right now, we're going to go ahead and look at Matthew 2. So before I dive into reading, you can see this really cool chart here. Jesus fulfilled a lot of Old Testament prophecies. This is a little chart of some of the prophecies of his birth. So you see the prophecy, the next column you see where it is in the Old Testament that the prophecy is, and then its fulfillment is in the New Testament. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start out at verse 1. So Matthew 2. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. So they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet. And you can see here in verse 6, you see the little letter H right next to the first word. That is a reference. That's telling you there's a reference verse. If we click on that, it simply tells you that the reference is in Micah. So the prophecy is actually found there. But this is a piece of it. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word to me, that I may come also come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed. And behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way. Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and stay there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I called my son. And here you can see a nice little map. This shows you the trip they would have taken from Bethlehem to Egypt, which is from Bethlehem to Ashkelon and Gaza over to Egypt. Of course, it also shows in Nazareth and Jerusalem as well as Bethlehem, like I mentioned. But let's go ahead, we'll continue. Starting at verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw he was deceived by wise men, was exceedingly angry, and he sent forth and put to death all the male children who were in Bethlehem, and in all its districts, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, A voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, weeping, and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. Rachel was the mother of Judah, so the people of Bethlehem would have been of the line of Judah, as was Jesus. Picking up, continuing in verse 19 here. Now when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel. For those who sought the young child's life are dead. Then he arose, took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he had heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea instead of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. And being warned by God in a dream, he turned aside into the region of Galilee, and came and dwelt in the city of Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. Guys, I'm not going to read this Bible Times. Simply put, it just tells you the different names for the Magi and that they were ultimately astrologers, the Magi being the wise men. Anyhow, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. If you have any questions or need to know anything, feel free to shoot me a message. Have a great evening, and God bless.